And it's Monday, y'all. And normally I say, I hope everybody had a good weekend. But if you're a Detroit sports fan, we did not have a good weekend. In fact, it was a terrible weekend. Um, I don't even know what to say. We got a lot to talk about. Lions, Yankees, Tigers, a little bit of everything. And that being said, I got my main man, Jersey Fred. Jersey Fred, what is popping, my brother?
Oh man, just trying to survive the storm of the century out here.
It's getting crazy over there in Jersey. You showed me before we jumped on the storms are brewing there.
The nor'easter of 2025. It's a nor'easter, yes.
Yeah, okay. What is a nor'easter?
A nor'easter is a tropical storm or a storm where the wind comes from the northeast.
That being said, Fred, speaking of weather, Fred is brought to us by Comfort Plus Heating and Cooling for all your HVAC needs. Now, Fred, I got to get into it. We were supposed to have a guest. I sent him the link. He may chime in, but we have to get going for the day. And obviously I want to talk first and foremost NFL, Lions, Chiefs. I have a lot to talk about, Fred. I'm going to have to go to you first. Here he is. We got him. I'm going to give him some time and let him know we're recording. Here he is. Without further ado, my main man, host of the Locked On Lions podcast, Matt Dery. Matt Dery, what's going on, brother?
Oh my gosh, guys, I am so sorry. Couldn't get off a call. My apologies on the lateness. Not usually my thing. So apologies. Good to see both of you.
Absolutely.
Welcome.
Matt, we already started the show and we were just getting ready to talk about what we brought you on for. And let me introduce you to my main man, Jersey Fred. Jersey Fred lives out in Jersey. He's got some roots here in Michigan. I bring him on here, Matt, because he puts me in perspective. He gives us that outside take of, us Homer fans. But I was just getting ready to ask Fred, like, I followed you last night and what you were talking about. And I want to start the conversation of this. I'm tired of the Lions fans blaming the refs.
I knew this is where you were going, Brad. It was crazy last night, man. Look, the Chiefs not committing a single penalty, and I know they committed one at the end of the game that was called basically the Lions declined. So on the stat sheet, they had 0 penalties. That is preposterous. All right.
Absolutely.
We all saw the Juju Smith-Schuster cheap shot on Brian Branch, which led to the Branch fight at the end of the game, which Branch should not have done.
100%.
So that probably should have been a blindside block and a penalty, unnecessary roughness. So yes, the fans have every right to be a little bit upset about it. But I'm with you, Brad. The bottom line is they did not play a good football game last night. They got beaten by a good team, a desperate team, and they were sloppy. I mean, St. Brown's dropping a 4th down pass. Huge play in that game. The defense with the constant missed tackles. Mahomes had time to throw. It was not a good performance. But to sit here and just go, the refs. And, looking on social media, which I've got to stay off of more. I've got to. And
it's hard with our jobs, isn't it, though?
I know. But I just, I know you guys, I'm sure, to hit on it. That was not my number one concern last night. Sure, that sucks. And yes, the play being called back for a touchdown at the start of the game was a little ridiculous because it's not reviewable. But with that being said, they did not play well.
Yeah, 100%. And it goes back to this. And now I say this to all my kids when they were playing younger sports and everything like this. Like, you can't constantly put this on a ref. Here's a situation. Don't put yourself in a situation where the ref could make that call, right? And, everyone's a big controversy right now is obviously the very first drive and the Goff score, which if that would have happened, that momentum of that game would have completely changed. But if you read the rules, Matt, I'm positive they made the right call. Now, how the call was made, I think, is more of the issue. Am I correct?
Yeah. So if Goff gets under center, puts his hands under center, and then goes in motion, he is supposed to stop and line up on the line of scrimmage. And He did not. He was in motion. So they missed it. They did, because The Lions were celebrating. They were coming off the field. Excuse me. It was shades of the Dallas game from a couple of years ago where all of a sudden a flag just appears, right?
Yep.
And everybody goes crazy. So Fred's right about the reporting. So it's like, that's what gets you. What Tirico and the crew on NBC, and Mike did a great job with it. And then Terry McCauley, the official the referee analyst in the booth, said, hold on a second. I know they're celebrating. I know they're running off the field, but if Goff lines up under center first and then goes in motion, he has to stop at the line,
Right.
and line up. And so this should not count. But with that being said, it's not reviewable. And how was it that all this time went by and then a flag was thrown? Why wasn't it thrown early? And I can see where the Lions fans have a gripe with that.
Right. Fred, what was your thought on that play when they made that call?
I mean, I did it. It's also not just under center. I believe. I think it's like any player that goes into motion either has to be set before or after or whatever. I mean, I thought the play was awesome. He could, if there wasn't nobody there, he would have dropped it, to be honest.
It was close. He needed some help for sure.
But I thought it was a cool play. Like barring the rules, obviously, I thought it was a ballsy fucking call and a cool play too, thrown back to your quarterback. I definitely thought that, yes, that drive was that the first drive of the game?
Yes.
Okay, so that was like the 9.5-minute drive. Totally, the fucking crowd was silent. Totally took them out of it. And then they get backed up and stuff and then get a fucking field goal out of all of that for just, 9.5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, I think it took a little bit out of it. I like the play call. I like,
Oh, loved it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
they've been
absolutely.
creative, and Brad knows they've been creative this year despite Ben Johnson leaving. And I think John Morton has done a nice job picking up where Ben left off. To be quite honest, this was only the second game out of 6 where the offense really did not dominate. I mean, the Green Bay game was rough. That was a road game. You're playing in Kansas City. I think we've become a little bit spoiled here. The fans like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? The sky's falling after Green Bay. Now some fans today, we might be in some trouble. Look, there's a lot of 5 of their top 6 corners are out. That's tough when you're going up against Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce. I mean, you could tell there were some communication issues last night defensively. There were guys, Brian Branch, and I know that the fight at the end of the game was the highlight here for Branch, but he didn't play well and he's not healthy.
No.
Kirby Joseph's limping around. So they got to get healthy this week with Tampa Bay coming in.
Well, the nice part is we don't play till Monday night, which gives us a little bit of time. That's ideal. But Matt, I have a question for you because I was listening to your podcast last week, the Locked On Lions podcast. Guys, if you're not familiar with it, find it on all the podcasts. Jump on there, subscribe, and you made a comment on Wednesday, I believe Tuesday or Wednesday, in regards to your thoughts on Terrion Arnold and how he didn't play well. He's over the time that he's been with the Lions, being the draft pick that he is, that like he really hasn't done what we expected him to do. I took the same stance last week and got hammered on social media saying that it was the best game he's ever played. And now I personally was in Green Bay in the crowd and watched him get penalty after penalty, get burned. Like, what's your take on the Terrion Arnold situation? I understand he's hurt right now, but is there a concern there?
Yeah, there has to be. When you're a first round pick, you're expected to come in and play right away and perform. And there have been plenty of first round picks that haven't. There have been first round picks in this town. Terry Fair was a first round pick as a corner. Brian Westbrook had some decent years, but never panned out the way that they wanted to. Guys, look, there's going to be players that just don't perform and don't do well. Jamarcus Russell was the number 1 overall pick as a quarterback.
Good point.
There are teams that have drafted numerous quarterbacks in the first round. Corner's a different story. It takes some time. Defensive coaches, coordinators have all said putting a kid out there right away at corner, unless he's some special athlete, is very, very difficult to do. Because you're on an island. It depends on the scheme and the system. They had him playing a ton of man last year, and he was the one corner by the end of the year that was healthy. at the end of last year. But I thought his second half last year, in terms of his first half, was improved. Kelvin Shepard came out, the Lions D coordinator, on the Believe in Lions podcast right before the season, with Glover Quinn and Trevor Thompson, and said, if there's one guy I had to pick on this defense that I think is going to break out, it's Terrion Arnold. I think he's ready. And all we've seen is a lot we saw last year, which is holding calls, PIs, a lot of handsiness, and he hasn't performed. But again, we're only talking about he's played 20 games in his career, 21 games. Right. I think it's going to take a little bit more time. Am I disappointed? Yes. But now with the injury, and I don't know how long he's going to be out with that shoulder, they've gotten second, third opinions on it. He needs to be on the field because he's still an upgrade over Trey Flowers or Rock Yassin, or last night Arthur Mollett played a few snaps, a guy that got off the street. You still want Arnold out there. And I'm still willing to give him the rest of this year, and let's see how he does.
For sure. And the other thing, and I said in the podcast, Fred, you remember this. I said that is the hardest position to play in this league. Like, you're going up against the best of the best, right? And it is a very, very tough position to play. But my question is to both of you, but when Patrick Mahomes was scrambling, and this is just a thought, and I'm curious what you both have to say, is it showed signs of the past Lions defense where that quarterback was able to get those extra first downs and everything. But that tells me that our secondary is locking up guys in the backfield. They have to be, the guys aren't open. That's why Patrick Mahomes is doing what he's doing. Like, was the secondary really the problem last night? What did you see in the defense that caused a lot of issues?
Go ahead, Freddie.
Well, my thing is, as an outsider, I know you guys are.
I'm glad we put you right in the middle, Fred. This is so awesome.
Yes, the sky is not falling. As an outsider, first of all, it's Patrick Mahomes making plays, which means that your line is getting pressure, and linebackers. At least, you're forcing him to run out of the pocket. To be honest, which, I mean, that's what you're supposed to do. He's making crazy plays. I don't think that's too much on the secondary. The secondary is just so banged up right now. So like you were saying, it's like, I mean, you got guys off the street right now, and you end up playing your game against K-State. I think that 17 points is a bigger problem than the secondary last night. I don't know. I just, as a fan watching the game, I don't think that 17 points gets it done. And I think that, I don't know if all the onus should be on the secondary, and not on, scoring more points. And it's a banged up secondary, probably the most banged up in the league.
Hands down.
Yeah. And you're playing one of the best teams in the league.
Right. And you're playing a desperate team. I mean, the last thing the league, and I know, the conspiracy theorists are out there. The league didn't want Kansas City at 2-4.
No.
With that being said, Mahomes and them played very desperate, and Freddie's right. Patrick, when he gets out of the pocket and the shuffle passes and the fake, the fake, fake spike plays where he runs, there's a lot of things that he does that only he does. He's a special player. Right. And Freddie's right about the offense. You got to score more than 17 points. Dan Campbell told Melissa Stark at halftime on NBC, we got to score 30 if we want to win this game.
Yeah,
they weren't close. And this offense has been really good. They've scored over 34 in 4 straight. They had a 50 burger against the Bears. It's a good offense. It's a really good offense. But last night, rhythm was an issue. You could just tell that they just, David Montgomery only had 4 carries. That can't happen.
Wow, I didn't realize that, Matt. That's
only
crazy.
4 carries, only 17 snaps too. So they got to get him more involved. He was great last week, but again, it's a combination of a lot of things that just did not go right last night. The St. Brown 4th down drop was huge.
Huge.
There's a lot of little things that went on that contributed to the loss. But you're right; they've got to get Branch and Joseph healthy. Neither of those guys was right last night, and then, they got to figure out. I mean, Avonte Maddox is not a great player, but he's a depth piece. That's a veteran. He was scratched last night due to injury. And like you said, they got an extra day now with the game on Monday, and Tampa Bay is very banged up. Godwin's out. Egbuka got hurt yesterday. Their receiving core, Mike Evans, is out. They got a lot of guys out too. So You got to power through it.
But the other thing is funny because we had talked about and I noticed that during the game I'm following your tweets and throughout the game. So if you follow Matt on Twitter, he kind of gives you the lowdown of what his thoughts are during the game. And you made a comment too that I thought was interesting, and I wanted to bring this question up because I complained about this a couple weeks ago. I understand the importance of establishing the run. Okay, I also understand that we have the best running back tandem in all of the league. But why is it that I feel like we only throw the ball in desperation? and you made a comment about it to take a deep shot at one point, but
just like one or two, Brad, just try it.
Something. And I thought the offensive line didn't play terrible. There was times where Goff had plenty of time to make those throws. Is it the play calling? Like, are we not trying to stretch the field? I mean, a perfect example was Green Bay. I was beside myself. There was not one thing I cheered about in that game. And I'm like, why are we not throwing the ball? We just signed this guy for a 50-some million. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like, why are we not stretching the field here? And why do we? And then we started throwing the ball in the third quarter when we had that drive. Amon-Ra had some great catches and everything. And you start to feel that momentum, but then the first half, we're just like pounding the ball. Like, is it play calling?
I think a little bit of last night was interesting was the lack of deep shots. And look, Jameson Williams has not had a great year so far. He had a really good game last night, I thought, and was involved, 6 catches, 7 targets. But you've got a guy with that kind of speed. They, at least in the Cleveland game 2 weeks ago, took a couple of shots down the field just to push the safeties back. It felt like, you're right, watching the Lions last night, everything was condensed. Everybody was in the box. The Chiefs were in the box. The Lions had everybody condensed. They did want to pound the rock. And then when they run effectively with Montgomery and Gibbs, they're great. And it sets up play action. But at no point last night did Goff air it out. Not really. Right. Other than the throw to J-Mo over the middle and the touchdown pass, which was a rocket in the back of the end zone of Laporta. Yeah. But even if the deep ball doesn't connect with Jameson Williams, it makes the defense think. And I thought last night they were a little conservative, a lot of dink and dunk, and you end up on the wrong end of the score, and you only score 17 points.
That Laporta catch was amazing, by the way.
Unreal,
crazy.
Absolutely. It was.
Yeah.
And I know you're busy, Matt. We're going to wrap this up on the Lions talk, and then Fred and I are going to go on to some other things. But I want to ask one last question to you, and Fred and I talk about this all the time. And my biggest gripe, and this goes across the city, okay? This goes across the city and all of our sports teams, is right now we're in a situation where we need some depth as far as, maybe it's the secondary, maybe it's the defensive line, some other things. Like, why is it that nobody in this town in the middle of the season wants to make moves to fill holes? And do you think at the situation that the Lions are in right now, will they make any moves to bring any other players out? I know Cincinnati is looking to deal some players. I know the Jets are looking to deal some players. Like, possibly the Raiders. Like, there's a lot of teams that are struggling.
Yeah, now it's wild. There's 3 different owners, obviously, for the 4 major teams. The Tigers owner and Red Wings owner just doesn't spend. We know that.
Don't get Fred started on that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we could.
You see the hat.
We could do some Aaron Boone talk at some point another time. Brian Cashman's been there 30 years, but let's be honest. Ilitch doesn't spend, and it makes no sense. The Tigers at the trade deadline, if you recall this summer, had the best record in the American League, and added Chris Paddock and Charlie Morton instead of going and adding, I don't know, Justin Verlander or somebody else. And so that's an issue. The Pistons, I think, are at a point right now where I think you got to give them one more year this year, including the trade deadline, where I think Trajan Langdon and that group that runs the front office are going to make some sort of a move. But I think right now, because the team is so young, they love the core. They're getting guys like Jaden Ivey back, that they didn't do anything dramatic and drastic this offseason. Lions have stayed the course with their philosophy, which has been draft, develop, a few free agents, but nothing major, and keep the core together as guys that fit the system. Right. They have not hit a home run with, like, when the Giants, and I know Freddie knows, when the Giants went out and got Brian Burns, they spent a lot of money on him, and he's a really good player. that's led to winning yet. No, although it was a nice win the other night. But regardless, the Lions just have stayed the course with what they do. But as we get to this trade deadline coming up, you're right. There are some bad. I mean, come on, guys. I watched Browns Steelers yesterday. That was a bad game. There are some bad football teams out there. Yep. And like you said, the Cleveland's not trading Myles Garrett. That's not happening. It's an untradeable contract. But the Browns have some pieces on their D line, veteran pieces. Like you mentioned before with the Jets. I mean, could the Lions actually look up and say, do we bring Sauce Gardner home to Detroit? It's expensive, right? But
fine, spend the money.
But like they're very regimented on how they do it. But again, you're right. As far as going for it, let's say they get around the trade deadline and Tampa Bay makes a big move. Will Brad Holmes pull the trigger and do it? Because last year the fans wanted Max Crosby, a Myles Garrett, a Trey Hendrickson, and they got Dery Smith, which was a nice pickup.
Yep.
He fit what they were doing, but it was they picked up the 2 years on his deal. They cut him this year. But will they hit the home run? I think that it's a massive question that we just can't answer yet. But they've not done that. They are drafting, developing, and making sure that every player in that locker room fits what a Lion and a Dan Campbell Lion is. But now we're getting to the point where you're right. Let's say Tampa beats them Monday night. Tampa then ascends to the top of the NFC, and the Lions take a step back. Lions need to win this game. Yeah. But what will it take to go get somebody off a bad team? And somebody of a high impact. You want to go get 40-year-old Cam Jordan from the Saints to rent for a year? I don't think that moves a needle like I mentioned Sauce before, or somebody of that ilk.
Right. Absolutely. And then what's your take next week? I mean, after last night, I mean, obviously we're going to be home. Fred and I were off camera talking about what a dog Baker is. His game yesterday
MVP level play right now. You know,
right? That's exactly what Fred said.
If I'm voting right now on MVP, and Fred doesn't want to hear this, but Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones is up there.
Oh no, Matt, I'm a Danny Dimes guy.
I knew this was coming.
Oh, I love it.
I'm a Steeler fan, Matt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, but yes, I am a Danny Dimes guy. I mean, dude, that dude is balling.
He's playing great.
But yes, I would vote.
Winning. Most valuable player to me is leading to winning. You know.
Yes, I would agree with you with Danny Dimes and Baker. I mean, I said Baker off air to Brad before, saying that he's playing MVP type ball.
He is. Absolutely. And that's why Monday night is a huge game and
huge.
Look. Remember last year, Tampa Bay came into Ford Field and beat them. Lions kind of owe them. It seems like the Lions have played the Bucs now every year for the last few years, and they've been good games,
right?
Including playoffs. So it's a huge game for the Lions, and I think that I don't know what's gotten into Baker, but he's just so comfortable in that system. He's had different OCs every year. Liam Cohen last year went to the Jags, and it's working. He's playing at a very high level, so it'll be a tough game.
Well, one last question for you, Matt. Will Brian Branch be on the field on Monday night?
I don't think so. I think the league's going to suspend him. I do. I think that was a horrible move by him at the end of the game. He obviously was premeditated. He walked right by Mahomes. Mahomes was trying to shake his hand. He was looking for Juju Smith-Schuster to Cole cock him, and he did. Yep. And due to Branch's history, remember he was ejected from the Green Bay game last year for headhunting and targeting. Right. I think the league is going to probably suspend him a game, and that would be terrible not to have him out there, but I have a bad feeling. I think he's going to serve a one-gamer and miss Monday night.
At least, which is, again, in a depleted secondary. Yep, absolutely. It's unacceptable. Like, I mean, again, I hate to say this. I go back when I tell my kids, it's when you retaliate is when you get caught. Right. And right. Like, that's exactly what he did. And like, this is 101 shit, man. And like, you're supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to act like it. And he's just done too many things that make me question if his bad decisions are starting to outweigh his talent.
He's such a talented guy. He's one of the best safeties in the league. He's a torpedo out there when he's on.
Right.
But why did he slip to the second round? We might now be seeing why. Because he just does some dumb stuff sometimes. And last night, look, game was over. Just walk off the field.
Yeah.
He could have broken his hand too. Punching guys in the helmet it's never good for anybody. And
Fred and I were just talking about that off camera. Why do you hit somebody with that helmet on?
Never understand football fights. I never get them. Boys, great to see you, Brad. Thanks for having me, Fred. Great to
Absolutely,
meet you.
man. We'd love to have you on. And
Steelers are playing great. I mean, AFC North is all theirs right now. It's crazy.
Yes,
exciting.
With Lamar Hurd and everything else going on, but I will admit the worst 4-1 team in the league.
Wasn't the prettiest of games yesterday. That's
no.
For sure. But they have a great identity. That's the one thing I've always respected about the Steelers is the identity, the toughness, the defense.
Yeah.
Man, and for an opposing quarterback and a rookie like Gabriel was yesterday, I mean, was
tough on him.
You know, you're going to be under siege with those guys, Highsmith and Hayward and TJ. They're awesome players. That's I know Tomlin takes a lot of heat in that town. And maybe it's time for a change, but they win every year. They somehow win. Well, they got to run this year.
It'll be interesting Thursday night. Flacco kills us no matter where he is. So we got the Bengals Thursday night. That'll be interesting because, like I said, Flacco is a Steeler killer. Like, so, but if they can get by that,
for sure.
Matt, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. See you on soon. Take care, buddy. Well, there he was, Matt Dery, Locked On Lions. It's really cool to have him on there. He, met him at a networking event, and I would listen to him back when he was on the radio back in the day, and now he does the Locked On Lions podcast. But it was really cool to get his take, and I'd like him and I kind of feel the same way about this team. Like we're diehard fans, but we still understand the problems that this team has. But it is what it is. We got to go into Monday night at home, and we have to win. It's a must-win game, and I get it. We're not, it's not the end of the world. We still have a long season to go, but these are statement games that have to be made. And we kind of touched on the Steelers, Fred, but the first half of the Steelers game was just dreadful, man. Dreadful. I was just like field goal after field goal. Now, luckily, I was watching the game. I had it on my phone while I was on my golf cart playing golf in this beautiful weather in Michigan. So I wasn't too upset after going through the Jets game in London, which was brutal. But you know what? The second half was a lot different. The second half, the Steelers kind of woke up. Aaron Rodgers had some great throws. Thursday's going to be interesting.
Yeah. It's big because, to get to 5-1 would be fucking huge. Just for this team that, and then the following week is Sunday night Packer game. So, the Aaron Rodgers Packer game. So, this, I don't want this to be a trap game. Looking forward to the Packer game.
Right. Good point. Is the Packer game? Is that game in Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh Sunday night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that one. And that's an Aaron Rodgers game that that you're stereotypical. Obviously, coming to being a Detroit fan and dealing with Aaron Rodgers a good majority for the last long time. Those are games he wins. Like he doesn't like. I
hope so. It could be interesting.
Yeah, she shows out.
But just flying under the radar in the AFC North, dude, just keep it moving, right? Like the longer Lamar's off I will say this is my one prediction for the AFC North. The Ravens are off next week, I believe. If Lamar comes back after the bye, I will say this right now, they win out.
Wow. That's huge, and especially as terrible as they're playing right now.
Even
with Lamar,
they will be 12-5 if he comes back the week after the bye.
Yeah. Okay, you heard it here first.
And I don't want that to happen, obviously. But that is what's going to happen.
Of course not. Another team that I was shocked at yesterday, and again, it blew up another parlay of mine. What in the hell is going on in Dallas?
Just so unpredictable. It's like I feel like after the first week of the season, I think we spoke about that, and I'm like, you know what? This is a good little team. Like
they lost, but they offensively they look great.
I'm like, this team is going to be problems, and then it's like they lose a shitty game, and then they tie Green Bay, and then. CeeDee Lamb's out right now. But George Pickens, I mean, fucking beat. But like,
Yeah.
they're so unpredictable, terrible. They're just a terrible bet either way.
I know.
Because you just, like, the one thing you can count on is they do put points up. So, and we only bet overs. So, but yeah, I still think I do still think they're a good team.
Okay. All right. All right. The other thing, and we didn't get to talk about this because it was a Monday night game, but it was the Chiefs-Jags game last Monday that was insane.
I gave you Jags in the over that night.
I didn't.
You wrote it down on your pad.
I did write it down on my pad, and then when I got off the pod, I didn't make the bet, and then and we had a baseball game that day, and that like there's a lot going on. Didn't make the bet. Should have. Trevor Lawrence looked unbelievable. Like the last play was hilarious, but it just goes to show like his athleticism, his ability to see the field, to make that play. That was a Patrick Mahomes-esque play, a Lamar Jackson-ish play. But then he comes with a Monday night hangover and throws 2 touchdowns against Seattle and loses. Like,
I will say this. Yes, and I understand that. That Monday night game was huge. But like, awesome. I will say that the only loss, and I've gotten to watch. That's why I say this. The only loss the Steelers have is against Seattle. Seattle is, if you watch Seattle play a full game, and I'm assuming we'll see them on primetime at some point. I don't even know what the schedule looks like. They're a good team, dude. They like, that was not a surprise to me. Just because Seattle is good. I think Seattle's a really good team. But you got to win that game at home. Especially after the big win. Right. So, and you're chasing Danny Dimes, Indiana Jones. You're still putting up just getting wins. He had 1 throwing, 1 rushing yesterday. Another big win.
Huge.
5-1. I'm not.
If you would have said that at the beginning of the season that Danny Dimes is going to be 5-1, people would have told you were out. You lost your damn mind.
I did say that he would be playing well because it's a different system. I didn't know he was going to be 5-1. But we can't take anything away from primetime dart. Let's, that was a huge game Thursday night. Right. Due to my demographic, I hear a lot about it from all sides. So, it's primetime dart is and Cam Scattaboo. I mean,
the guy's a nut.
It's cute. He's a gimmick, but like probably won't be in the league in 3 years.
Okay, hold on. It's 100% what my thought is. Like, this is cool, but there's no way this guy can maintain an NFL career like this.
Total lunatic. Yeah, I agree. But I hope he can though. Right. I just feel like he's one of those gimmick guys that you just go, dude, what was that dude's name? Fucking lunatic guy a couple years ago, running all over the place. Where'd he go? Oh,
yeah, it's kind of like Insanity in New York, right?
Yes, he might be the next Insanity. Yeah, I mean, Jackson Dart. I mean, I think he's for real. I think I don't think he's better. Again, it's a system issue, so like you can't compare him to Daniel Jones.
Right, absolutely.
But he looks like I think he looks like I think he's gonna be an NFL starter, in his career.
Yeah, obviously. He looks really good, and he's young. I mean, he's only got room to grow, and it shows that he's talented. Chargers are back, bud. Big win against the Dolphins.
They're back. They're not back. That's another team.
They're like the Cowboys.
It's like 1 week they're back, the next week they're not, and then they squeak one out. I mean, right. Miami is in turmoil right now. If you watched anything about like the press conference, like Tua just totally unacceptable what he did.
Basically said it was the leadership, the lack of leadership, or starts from the top, something like that was his quote.
Well, he also called out people that were late to player-only meetings or didn't show up to player-only meetings, which opens the door to just a whole fucking can of worms that the media is going to eat up moving forward for everybody else in the locker room.
I was listening to Pardon My Take this morning, and they're like, well, if people don't show up to player-only meetings, that means either one, you have too many of them, or two, you just don't have the right snacks. And maybe you should focus on better snacks at the meeting, and then people show up. And I totally agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting take. It's like I don't think. I mean, it's obviously not the place to announce that.
Right.
You know, so like now it's interesting to see, you know, what happens to Miami moving forward. Like they might just drop off a cliff, like, you know. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, listen. I don't know if there is any teams that are unbeatable in the AFC or NFC.
Which is so crazy because after week one, you remember what I said in week one, I was like between Baltimore and Buffalo. Like if you're
no one's beating them.
Yeah, no one's beating them. If you're an NFC fan that your only hope is to make it to a Super Bowl, like that was my take after week one. And now it's like, it's anybody's game.
Yeah. Shit, and I feel
Tampa could win this year.
Well, I feel like, I mean, obviously, I think we all like secretly knew that KC was like in the hunt, right? I don't care what their record looks like. Who wants to play KC? Like, before last night, I just mean in general, like when we were all talking about the Bills and the Ravens, it's like, oh, and you know, KC was 0-2, and it's like, oh, they're done. I mean, who wants to play KC? Come on. Now they do have a game at the Bills in like 3 weeks, KC, which will be very interesting. You know, like that will be another game where we can see, like, if they win that game in Buffalo, I think they move back up to the old school, like, you know, it's KC or, you know, or bust. Like, you know, in the NFC, I mean, the loss to the Giants is terrible for the Eagles. I don't know what's going on, but like, I would still put the Eagles up there with the Lions, Tampa. I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, the Rams can get hot, you know, like, you know, I'm not buying the Niners, really.
I think they're lucky at where they're at right now.
Yeah.
You know, they got, you know, obviously losing pretty handily to Tampa yesterday, which, you know, I told my buddy who was going to the game, was a Niners fan. I'm like, I don't even know why you're making the trip, bro. You're going to get.
I mean, they were 4-1 going into that game, and when I saw that, I was like, they're 4-1. And then, like I have said to you, Steelers are the worst 4-1 team in the league. Maybe the Niners were. I don't know, but like, you know, like I don't buy that they're gonna make a big run. I think that Tampa can make a run. The Lions obviously can make a run. But I still wouldn't count out the Eagles. I mean, the loss to the Giants is a terrible loss, but like they got them in a couple weeks, and Eagles are home, so we will see like I think a totally different game.
Yeah, and we've seen an Eagles team have hiccups. I mean, last year they won. I think in week 3 or week 4 they wanted to fire. What's his name? Sirianni. They wanted to fire him, and now he's like the greatest thing to ever walk in Philadelphia. You know, a typical Philadelphia fan.
Yes.
But insane, crazy. This league is, you know, every week is different. You know, obviously next week's going to be huge. We got 2 Monday night games tonight. Give me some.
I would not be surprised with the Falcons tonight. I like the Falcons at home. I like the over. I do like the Commanders tonight. But I like the Falcons in the over. Like I don't know. Like
Falcons over. I'm betting. As soon as we get off this pod, I'm putting the money down. I'm taking Falcons in the over.
I do like the Commanders. I'm not sure about the points in that game. I mean the total.
Commanders money line.
No. I'll lay the wood, but I'm not sure about the total.
Okay. All right, done, locked in. All right, moving on, we have Monday's Monster brought to you by Lickaboli's Market. Those of you who follow us on TikTok, you saw the video that I posted because I was so geeked about it. This is actually St. Clair Shores Lakeview playing number 18 Grosse Pointe. Oh, there it is. Hold, please. Insane. That's junior Alan Knowles from Lakeview hitting a 38-yard field goal to beat the unbeaten Grosse Pointe South. What is Grosse Pointe South? I forget. Oh, Blue Devils, I think. I think they're the Blue Devils. But there it is, Monday Monster. Congratulations, Alan. I know a lot of people were rooting for him, but that's pretty cool. Pretty damn cool. NCAA football. Michigan sucks, dude.
That was tough.
Season's over.
Well, looking at the season as a whole now, right? The Oklahoma loss kills you. Because
Oklahoma lost too.
Yeah. No, the Oklahoma. No, I mean the Oklahoma loss yesterday kills you.
Right, but I'm saying they lost as well this week too. So
no, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
Them losing yesterday or Saturday killed them just because, I mean, Red River rivalry, tough game in Texas. Okay, fine. But it just kills the rankings of the Michigan because it's not a good loss. Is it a bad loss? No, it's not. But it's not a good loss. Right. So that hurts. And then losing out, so now 2 losses. Now, my other thing is this, but you run the table and beat Ohio State. I mean, that's their only path. Possible.
Because a couple weeks ago you said, you run the table, control your own destiny, even lose the game, you're still in.
Yeah.
Now you're in a predicament at Ohio State, you have to win.
You have to win that game. Or the season, or if they lose one more game, the season's over. But because if they do win that game, they will be a 2-loss team, but beating Ohio State and losing to Oklahoma is, not terrible. I think the only other team with 2 losses that makes the playoffs is going to be Notre Dame. They lost to Miami and A&M. So they lost to, the number 2 and 4 and they have USC this week. So if Notre Dame beats USC this week, now we're talking about Notre Dame, moving up a little bit too. It's getting interesting up there, up at the top there, but you have to keep it in the top 12.
Absolutely. And here's 2 teams that at the beginning of the season, if I would have brought these up to you, you would have been like, no way. Texas A&M Aggies and the Indiana Hoosiers, both undefeated.
I mean, that was the biggest win in the history of the program, which was awesome. First road win against a team in the top 5. 0 for 46 prior to that. Huge fucking win. Now we'll see what they do the rest of the way out. I wouldn't count Oregon out either. But Ole Miss, there's so many little teams up there. And I said this a couple weeks before. I said that Alabama would be right back up there, and they're right back. I knew they would beat Georgia. Alabama is giving all the NCAA guys that jerked them off. They're giving them what they wanted because everybody wants fucking Alabama, Georgia, all that shit. But Alabama's back in there. Georgia they both have tough games left. But like, I don't know if Ohio State loses a game. Now they don't they don't need to blow teams out.
They just got to win.
In the Big Ten, you don't have to do that.
Right.
You know, so like, and I don't. It's interesting to see if the U runs out.
Yep. Like again, I can see any of these teams, and like now that Michigan season's over, I'm taking, because this is what I can do when I'm kind of a fair weather college football fan. I can jump around, right? I would never do that in the NFL, but this is how I see it. So now that I feel like the Michigan, I'm still gonna root for them, but my team now is Dan Campbell's alma mater. I'm going with Texas A&M.
It's great, dude. Crazy. I mean,
Texas
now each week is just more and more important compared to how we were talking, week 1, 2, and 3,
right,
about college football in general. Now it's everything's on the line each week. You got to come in that top 12. The top 4 get buys.
Yep, which is huge.
So, huge.
Huge
but
for health reasons, everything.
Like I was looking, like forecasting a little, just for the hell of it. Like we may see like some crazy matchups. Like we may see like a Georgia Ohio State in the second round of the playoffs, or like like Alabama against the U, or like just like some crazy game.
So awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see some crazy matchups like in the second round.
Right. And we can't wrap up NCAA football without talking about Penn State firing James Franklin.
Not surprised.
Okay, wholeheartedly, I'm not surprised that he got fired. I am surprised that it happened in the middle of the year.
Dude can't win a big game.
Can't.
I mean, like he can't win a big game. And that's what. Now I don't know what happens moving forward, which is going to be the interesting, side of it, because whoever comes in, forget this season, right? Like whoever comes in, you have to beat Ohio State next year, or you're gone too. I mean, so it wasn't a huge surprise to me, but I think Penn State's a great program. So like, I don't think it's going to be hard for somebody to jump in there, but you have to win the big games now.
Yeah, for sure. And then last but not least, obviously we're running crunch on time, but bringing our special guest Matt Dery in. I mean, we have to talk about it. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Dude, both of our teams, Tigers, Yankees. Tigers go 15 innings in a game 5 on Friday. Probably one of the craziest baseball games. And I just say like on the edge of my seat baseball games because it was a 3-2 game. In fact, Sarah asked me right that night as we're like killing time before the game and taking Frank for his walk. And she's like, what do you think the score is? And I said, it's going to be 3-2 Tigers. I thought for sure it was going to be 3-2 Tigers. I thought Scuba was going to pitch. I thought we were going to give him a little more support. But Fred, outside opinion, that's why you're here. That's why you're the co-host of this show. Outside opinion, do you put this loss, and I'm talking game 5 loss in Seattle, do you put this on Hinge?
I mean, me personally, yeah. I told you this. This is weird that it ended up this way. But I remember talking to you about Tommy Kahnle at the beginning of the year when he had a low
100%.
ERA. And I said, listen, you're going to get sick of Tommy Kahnle. I said I couldn't have been more happier when they didn't re-sign him. Because he throws a changeup every time. And eventually there's nothing you can do. Now, you pull Flaherty to put Tommy Kahnle in, I think that was just crazy to me. So
no, okay, let me ask this. Do you throw, if you were the manager, do you throw Scuba one more inning?
100%. He was at 99. He threw a ball that was at 101 in the 6th inning.
why is it that 100 is the like
The
nowadays,
magic number,
right? Yeah, what makes that number the magic number? Because I'll tell you what, in the early 90s, that was not the case.
No, I think that through research and stuff like that. But and here's the thing: it is the magic number in a sense, but like it doesn't mean you can't go over it. I mean, we all know that like like Crochet against the Yanks threw 120 something. Like like it
Right.
like so and and his stuff wasn't bad though. That's the thing. Like
Right.
the magic number of 100, yeah, that could get you out of the game if you're losing stuff and they're hitting you hard. This dude threw a pitch at 101 in the 6th inning. So I mean, I don't know. That's just crazy to me. The check swing Naylor double down the line. You let him steal third. He scores on a fucking sac fly. That could have been prevented.
Yeah.
So like
Naylor had it, Naylor did the same shit to us when he was in Cleveland last year, and then turns around and comes to Seattle and does it again to us. Like he had a hell of a game, man. He had a hell of a game.
Even with the double, you could have prevented him stealing third base. Like you got to step off. You can't let him take third base. And that's the one run you let up.
Yep.
Now it would have been interesting if they didn't score that one run, Seattle. Now, do you keep Skubal in? I don't know. Like I keep Skubal in until his arm falls off.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Like,
absolutely. And like you have nothing to you have everything to lose, right? So it's you got to throw everything in the kitchen sink. And do I think he's going to get fired? No.
No.
I think he's a good manager. I think he had a good year, I mean, you can pick holes in anything. Like
of course.
Again, the first half of the season we were 15 and a half games. Can these things be fixed? You and I talked off camera numerous times. We needed a little bit more bat. We need a couple more bats. We need some help in the relief pitching, but to be up at 1:30 in the morning on a Friday night for me is insane nowadays. But I was on the edge of my seat. It was a great game. And I just, and to have a weekend of Tigers, Wolverines, then the Lions, it was tough. And then, last but not least, obviously you go down, you lose 3-1 to the Blue Jays, Fred. You talked about this. You're a Boone guy. Like you've stated it from the beginning of this podcast. That's your guy. Fred, is he have a job next year?
So listen, I wouldn't be mad if he didn't have a job. And like, again, I will say I'm a Boone guy. I just think that sometimes people have to go. Example, Franklin. If you're not like, and I guess it's kind of like similar to the Tomlin thing because it's like, but you make the playoffs every year. Okay. But like it is,
that's not what we're trying to do.
But is that a good thing? Of course it's a good thing.
Great thing.
Yes. If I told you that the Lions would make the playoffs for the next 15 years straight, would you take it?
Yep, 100%. Wouldn't even flinch.
Sit back and relax.
Yep.
So now we're in that middle stage, right? This year was a middle stage, not a rebuild. I'll never say that the Yankees will rebuild, but the Yankees are in a middle stage where they had gotten rid of their core that was supposed to stay together. Gary Sanchez, Gleyber Torres. Like the guys that came up with Judge. They got rid of those guys, and it was a transition period. Now I think they had a good year. They got hot at times. They hit a ton of homers, but you live by the sword, die by the sword. For sure. I think I would trade homers for average any day of the week. I think that there's some people now in this transition, the Austin Wells, Anthony Volpe, like these are guys that you have to say, are we going to stick with these guys for another 4 years or do we just nip it in the bud? I'm all about nipping it in the bud. Go like, like I love Volpe. I think he was rushed a little. which happens. But like everybody was happy about the 19 homers, stuff like that. But you can't hit 19 homers and hit 210 and then strike out 14 out of 16 times in the division series. Like there's just certain things you can't do. And that sucks. But I think that I think we're back next year too. I'm not worried.
Okay.
I don't care if it's Boone or not. I'm not worried about next year. Next year we will be in the playoffs. We will be at the top of the AL. I already know. Like I'm confident enough to know that with Cole coming back, which is another, Cam Schlitt.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
And speaking of, real quick, hold on.
What's this about?
Hold on.
He's excited about something.
Hold on.
Oh. I know what this is. Why did we not bring this up?
Yeah.
Why did you not wear this?
Well, I didn't want to ruin anything, but
there he is. Nolan's gift to Fred. I love it. Nice. Look at him. The pinstripes. Those pinstripes look slimming on you, Fred.
Very slimming, and that's why we wear them.
Right.
Shout out to Nolan. We were going back and forth. I had some ideas, so I had my wife open it, and she said, "What number do you think it is?" I said, "If I'm thinking like Nolan's thinking, it's 31."
Okay.
And she turns it around, and it was 31. So I'm like thinking, because I mean, come on, I think we all know why it's 31. So
explain to people, why is it 31?
That's Cam Schlittler's number. He pitched that last game against Boston, 8 innings, 13 Ks, like no runs, so shout out to Nolan. I appreciate you.
Nolan. Man of his word.
Yes, definitely kept his word. Awesome. It was awesome receiving it, and it's great, and I love it. And shout out to Nolan. Thank you very much, obviously. And we'll see what's going on next year. Maybe we could, if he comes out here, or I go out to Boston, we'll see. I don't know. Like,
absolutely,
never know how things go. But yeah, I'm not nervous about next year, and it is what it is. Who do I want to see in the world? I mean, I just want the Dodgers to roll everybody now.
Yeah. Okay, that was going to be my last question at the end. Who do you see in the World Series? And okay, let's say Seattle, Toronto. Seattle's up 1-0. Toronto?
I think Toronto is still. I think the Dodgers, but I just want the Dodgers to roll everybody. I think that, and I always talk about this with you. I always talk about markets and what they want. Could you imagine a Mariner Brewer World Series? I'm not and nothing against Seattle or Milwaukee.
No.
But
point.
I'm talking about globally, right?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, there's no way the Dodgers don't make the World Series because of that. I feel like I'm not a conspiracy theory guy either, but it would be terrible for baseball if the Dodgers don't make the World Series now. And the other thing is, I mean, if you want to throw Toronto in there too, and if it was Toronto and Milwaukee, I mean, Toronto's another country in another country. Like it's not even the same.
You can't win America's pastime.
Well, it's not even that. I'm talking about they're not a draw.
No, for sure.
So for LA, I mean, if it was LA, and I think their best bet is LA and Seattle, just because of the dumpster. You get Cal Raleigh in there for the World Series. That would be the only the best draw that they can have. And I think that LA, wins another one, and then we'll see moving forward. Shout out to Vegas, the Aces, though.
Yeah.
Sweep.
Yep. With the sweep.
Yeah.
I think 3 of 5. Did I read that?
I think it's 3 of 5. I think that Asia's going to win the MVP. Like, is it 3 out of 5 as well, or 2 out of 3?
Shout
Best
out to
player
the
on
Las
the planet.
Vegas Aces.
Yeah, best player on the planet. I mean, Jesus. Just there was it was a weird run in the W with the Fever making the run without CC. So like it'll be interesting. And right now I don't know if you're keeping up on the whole the tension between owner or the commissioner of the W and the players.
Right. It's crazy.
Going back and forth a little bit about Portnoy said something one day about something about Caitlin and commissioner owner type shit. And he said something like she can take her and some of those girls can start a league tomorrow. And just the WNBA would be just
dismantled.
Yes. Yep. But the WNBA is owned 40% or whatever by the NBA. It's not going to happen. I mean, it won't get to that. But
no, I think interesting. They don't have a choice.
No, I mean, dude, and listen, I don't think that like me and you, I don't think that we expect people to get paid like 40 million or LeBron or I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I don't think they should get paid 75 grand. Like it's like
no, it is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And I'm totally for it because the draw that the WNBA and the hype that the WNBA has had over the last 2 years has been phenomenal. It's literally put it on the map. And if this ownership doesn't take responsibility for this and do something, I think these girls are drastically going to do something to your point, or Dave Portnoy's point. Like they'll break off and do their own thing. Do I think it's going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. But hear me now. The WNBA ownership needs to do something and pay these girls their money.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. It's the biggest argument against that is they don't make any money to blah blah blah. Okay, well you got to spend money to make money. They're already on trending up. Yes, maybe it historically the W hasn't made a profit, but like now we're trending the other way now. Like, and I mean, I think we can all see it whether you watch or follow the WNBA. I think that the WNBA is more popular now than it ever was.
100%.
I mean, and you're not a W guy, like that, and I know it.
I mean, you and then follow just any social media platform you get on, they're talking about it.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, yeah, it's an interesting little concept and what's going on. But in closing, I will ask you one question, and I want your honest opinion. What do you think of Bad Bunny?
I love Bad Bunny.
Okay.
I do. Obviously, I'm Puerto Rican. He's Puerto Rican. I think he's an amazing entertainer. I do enjoy his shows, but I just don't know about how the rest of the world is going to take it, and I think it's going to be an issue.
Okay, I love it. I'm a Bad Bunny guy.
Sure. The guy's amazing. He's wildly talented. But a lot of people don't know that. That's the problem, Fred. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that, and they don't know who he is. And it's just a bunch of old people, in my opinion, who are like, who's this? Who's this? I want to see Metallica. Like, calm down.
Yeah. Calm down. Well, I mean, he's the #1 streamed artist in the world over T Swizzy. And I feel that it's a good move because I think that the Super Bowl is a global event. I don't think it's a fucking regular 1:00 Sunday game that local people are watching.
I hope he puts on the performance of a lifetime.
Well, yeah, he's a performer.
All these old
he's
people.
An entertainer.
He is.
And I mean, obviously, I have a soft spot for Puerto Rico. They say after you're there 4 times, you're an honorary Puerto Rican. So, I got married on the beaches there. And we've been there 5 times. So like, no, I just think that this whole thing is silly. I'm not sure anyone wants to see Lee Greenwood. Not
Right.
but it is funny to me to go back and forth.
For sure.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, and with that being said, happy Indigenous Day to all my fellow Indigenous people. I hope you enjoy your day. Hope you get the day off. I don't, because I want to talk to my main man, Fred, and I want to talk to my main man, Matt Dery. Again, thank you, Matt Dery, for coming on. It was absolutely a pleasure. Fred, I will talk to you next week, my brother. Take care.
All right.